The topic of this video is going to be transformations, or transformation geometry, you might hear it called. We're going to work with figures, and the operations we're going to perform are translations, reflections, and rotations. Other language you can use with these that are a little less formal, might be good for students, are slides, flips, and turns. To get some of the basic definitions out of the way, let's look at a sample figure. This triangle that has vertices A, B, and C. If we're going to do some sort of transformation to this, it's going to get repositioned somewhere else. And let's take a look at how that would look on our diagram. We've got a relatively simple change here where we started out with triangle ABC and we moved it to a different place. And now what we've got, instead of triangle ABC, in order to show that this was the result of a transformation, our triangle's vertices are now A prime, B prime, and C prime. That's an apostrophe attached to the letter just to let us know that that was the result of a transformation that we did. And the way that we say that is A prime, B prime, C prime. Another important term for us is that the result of a transformation is called the image. It's the result, it's the image. And working kind of backwards from there, that means that the original figure that we started with is going to be known as the pre-image. So we have a pre-image with vertices A, B, and C, and we have an image with vertices A prime, B prime, and C prime. Keep that in mind as we work through these transformations. The first transformation we're going to look at is called a translation. It's a slide, basically. We are going to slide this figure somewhere else. I'm going to apologize in advance. It's very hard to be precise with my drawing in this format, so you'll sort of have to forgive a little bit of the sloppy nature of the figures. You won't see that in your homework or on your quizzes or exams. With a translation, we're going to slide it. A slide's going to have a distance and a direction. And it is typical for us to be given that distance and direction in terms of a translation vector. So somewhere in a problem that's involving a translation, you might see a vector like that one. This tells us the distance and the direction that we need to slide our figure. Now, if we take a look at this vector that we've been given, we can see that what we're supposed to do here is go down 3 spaces and to the right, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. This particular translation vector tells us we need to go down 3 and to the right 5. So I'm going to take my pre-image that I've been given over there with vertices A, B, C, D, and I am going to move it down 3 spaces and to the right 5. Now if you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to do that? What we're going to do is we're going to move each vertex the same way that the translation vector tells us to go. The easiest one for me to see how to move right away is probably B down here in this corner, because I'm going to go in that direction. So vertex B that used to be here now needs to go 3 spaces down and 5 spaces to the right. So vertex B is going to move over there, and remember, after I move it, it's not going to be called B anymore. Now it's going to be called B prime. So that's where B prime is going to go. Now I can either use B and just draw my figure right there, because I think I have enough information to do that, or you could continue by moving all the other vertices the same way and then connecting the dots. I think I'm going to go ahead and draw my figure. From B, I need to go over here, and that's where A prime is going to be located. And then it looks like D is 3 spaces up, so that's where D prime is going to be located. I need to go diagonally over here to hit C prime, and then I can connect that dot to make my figure. Did I make it too tall? I think I did. Well, that's okay. This can happen to you also. Let's get rid of D prime and get rid of C prime, and we'll fix this thing. I've got A and B in the right places. And now I just need to make sure that I draw my figure accurately. It looks like from A to D is 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I need to go up 1, 2, 3 spaces to get to D. And then I can do my diagonal and then finish my figure, and I've got D prime and C prime. And I've just done a translation where I moved A, B, C, D down 3 spaces to the right 5 spaces and resulted with A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. The next transformation we're going to look at is called a reflection. When we had a translation a bit ago, we were given a vector that had a distance and direction that told us how to slide our figure. Now with a reflection, we're going to be given a line of reflection that we're going to reflect our figure across. Essentially what we're doing here is creating a mirror image. So let's say we're given this figure, A, B, C, D, and we're given a line of reflection that is right here, this vertical line of reflection. So there's our line of reflection, and we're told to reflect figure ABCD across line L. Somebody that may be really artistic might be able to just visualize this right away. I wouldn't fall into that category personally, so I'm going to give you a technique for doing this. If we start with point B again, I don't know, maybe it's my favorite today. If we start with point B, what we look at is that we want to go straight at the line of reflection, and we need to go straight away from the line of reflection the same distance. So it looks like we are 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and so I need to go the same distance away from the line, the same direction away from the line. What we're doing is making a perpendicular bisector, for those of you that are comfortable with those terms. So I need to go 4 spaces away, straight away, and that is where the vertex B prime is going to land. Here again, just like we did before, some of you might be comfortable enough now to go ahead and draw the rest of the figure. That didn't work out so great for me with our translation. I had to fix it, so I'm going to be a little careful here, and I'm going to look at vertex C, and I need to go straight at the line of reflection, and I need to go 4 spaces, so C prime is going to end up here. That's a C prime that I didn't do a great job of writing up there, so let's label it here, C prime. And then if I want to move vertex A, well, it needs to be 2 spaces from B prime, so that one's not that hard. And then finally the last thing I need to do is move vertex D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away, and I want to go straight at it and straight away from it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away, and that's where I'm going to drop D prime. And now that I have all my vertices in the right places, now I can go ahead and draw my figure. One thing you may want to do after you get all your vertices in place is kind of get rid of some of this other stuff that might cloud the view of it, and then I can draw my new figure in. And now I've got A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. One thing that's very important that I want you to notice when you do a reflection is we've got a mirror image. A and D used to be on the left side of my figure. Now A prime and D prime are on the right hand side of my figure. I've created a mirror image when I reflected it across the line. The last transformation we're going to look at is called a rotation. And in order to do a rotation, we need a center of rotation, which for our class is going to be one of the vertices of the figure, and then a direction and how far. Now, how far is not going to be in terms of blocks on our grid like it was with a translation. Now it's going to be in terms of degrees. In our class, we're going to focus on 90 and 180 degree rotations to keep things relatively basic. It can certainly get more advanced than that, but for right now, the first thing we're going to look at is we are going to rotate this figure 90 degrees clockwise around point B. 90 degrees clockwise around point B. So point B is going to stay fixed. It's not going to move. Point B is going to be a vertex on my resulting diagram. Now what I need to do in order to rotate this thing 90 degrees is think about, well, if I go 90 degrees, anything that is currently a vertical line is going to become a horizontal line. And I'm rotating 90 degrees clockwise. So point B is going to stay fixed, point C is going to go that direction. And this line that is currently vertical from B to C is going to become horizontal. The length of it is not going to change. It's still going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces long. So when I draw this new line from B to C, I need to go 5 spaces, and I need to be horizontal instead of vertical. So when I draw that in from B to C, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and that's going to be the location of C prime. That diagonal line from C to D, boy, that's tricky for me to deal with. I don't know how I'm going to handle that, so I think I'll stay away from that one for right now. I think that diagonal, I'm not going to fool with for a bit. But the line from B to A, that one, I think I can handle from B to A. Right now, that is a horizontal line that goes 2 spaces. In my new figure, after I rotate this direction, clockwise, from B to A is going to become a vertical line, and it's going to be 2 spaces in length. So from B to A prime is going to be right there, and this is where A prime is going to be located. Now I can figure out where D is going to go. From A to D used to be a vertical line, so now it's going to be horizontal. It's 1, 2, 3 spaces in length. So my line from A prime to D prime is going to be horizontal, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3 spaces in length, and so that's where D prime is going to go, and then I can finish the figure by connecting those dots. And I've rotated A, B, C, D 90 degrees clockwise around point B. Let's try another one of those. We have a new figure, E, F, G, H, and we're going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise around point E. So in this one, point E is going to stay fixed, and we're going to move the others. You can do this in any order, but I think as you practice them, you'll kind of see that, well, you know, that vertical line that's attached from E to H seems like an easy one to move. This time I'm going to go counterclockwise, so I'm going this direction. And when I go counterclockwise, that line from E to H that's vertical is going to become horizontal. It's still going to be 3 spaces in length. So when I draw my new line from E to H prime, oh, I went too far, 3 spaces over to H prime. Then the line that goes from E to F, that's currently a horizontal line, is going to become a vertical line when I go 90 degrees counterclockwise. It has a length of 2, that's not going to change, and now my line from E up to F prime goes right there. Now my line from F prime to G prime, it used to be that was a vertical line from F to G, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in length. So from F to G was 5 in length and was vertical. Now after I rotate, that's going to still be 5 in length, but it's going to be horizontal, and it's going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in length, and that's where G prime is going to go. And then I can finish this by connecting the dots, and now I've rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise around point E. Rotations can be a little tricky. One thing that you have in your tool bag that you can keep in mind is you can actually physically turn your book to get an idea of what the resulting image should look like. So that can be a helpful tool as you work on rotation.